For the introduction, our case study is regarding the construction of the mangrove conservation site at Pulau Ketam. There is currently little development in the area, but as humans grow, more space is required. Hence, an establishment of a region of conservation is vital as it brings multiple benefits. Surveys and compatibility tests were conducted to determine the effectiveness of the project planning. The results of these plannings can be seen in the upcoming contents.
For the case study, we have 12 zones of coastal management for the whole management area, which includes the conservation, preservation, general use, residential, tourism, social, industrial, aquaculture, and inland water, pelagic, agriculture, industrial, and shipping zone. Whereas in Pulau Ketam, there are 9 zones of coastal management. Each of these zones play an important role for the objective of this study. The zonation was carried out based on current human uses, and through this zonation, we are able to identify human uses that are conflicting each other and also use which are more compatible. The zone which has the highest coverage is known to be the conservation zone, whereas the zone with the lowest coverage is known to be the social zones. Hence, we can identify that conservation is vital in our study area. For this case study, the influence of 2D at Pulau Ketam are the crab statue and jetty. Next, the influence of 4D above the surface of water at Pulau Ketam are crabs, mangrove tree, and mud skipper. Coming to the influence of 4D on the surface of water at Pulau Ketam, which are ferry, fish farm, and fishing activity as well. Whereas in the water column, Pulau Ketam has marine organisms such as fishes, benthos, and planktons. And there is trash on or underwater column as well. Lastly, for the influence of 5D, there are high tide, low tide, and monsoon happening in Pulau Ketam. There are 3 objectives in this case study. The first objective is to investigate the spatial allocation plan at Pulau Ketam. The second objective is to determine the functional or specific management area at Pulau Ketam. And the third objective is to identify whether Pulau Ketam is suitable to have mangrove conservation site.
In our case study, a surveying technique was used to obtain responses from the community. Demographic questions and 4 different sections based on the impacts of 4 main objectives were asked in the survey, and those are conservation, socio-economics, governance, and multiple use objectives. We used Google Form to create the questionnaire, and the survey took place for almost 5 days where 30 respondents have participated. As a result of this survey, we gained support from the community for the building of the mangrove conservation site. To analyze the responses, a reliability test was done in order to determine the dependency or consistency of the characteristic of the data. Section B and C have acceptable reliability level. Section D has non-reliable results as it has a value lesser than 0.60. Section E has a good level of reliability. Meanwhile, Section D has a low reliability level as there are only 2 questions present in this section. Since all the results have a Kolmogorov-Smirnov value of more than 0.051, the data obtained based on the questions is normally distributed. As for skewness, the values can be positive, 0, negative, or even undefined.
Section C and E are positively skewed. This results in graph that is skewed to the left. The mean of the data is lesser than the median. However, the skewness value of the overall section B and D are negative. The graph is skewed to the right and the mean of the data is greater than the median.
The kurtosis value can be split into 3 interpretations: leptocritic, platycritic, and mesocritic. From the results obtained, the overall data, section B and section C have leptocritic kurtosis value, which shows that the values are positive, whereas section D and section E have a platycritic kurtosis value.
This is our focus group discussion, which is also known as the FGD. For the first stage, our need is the mangrove conservation site, which is located at Pulau Ketam. For this project, we will require the support of the Forest Research Institute Malaysia, FRIM, as the authority in our area. Some of the stakeholders in this area include the conservation administrators, fisheries officers, town and country planning officers, forestry officers, and environmental governments. For the second stage, our vision is to implement the protection and conservation to the biodiversity and economical functions of the mangrove ecosystem at Pulau Ketam. As mentioned before, our objectives are in regards to conservation, socio-economics, multiple use and governance of the area. With that, this project is believed to bring a lot of benefits to both the environment and the community. Our target resources are our mangrove ecosystems. Besides being a nursery for fish, it is a natural wave barrier and also reduces the rate of erosion. For the third stage, the current issue is that there is no form of protection for the mangroves. Hence, a compatibility test was done to see if this project benefits the current human users in this area. Despite there being a lot of red, there is still green and blue, which indicates medium and good levels of compatibility. Hence, this project can still be carried out for its benefits. Other activities that were not mentioned include tourism activities and fishing, which are known to be the adjacent activities. From the compatibility test, we have also determined some future uses, which include mangrove, preservation and conservation, aquaculture and mariculture, and beach replenishment. These activities will not only support our objective but will improve the living conditions at Pulau Ketam. For the fourth stage, our management strategies for our mangrove conservation site are to increase conservation, socio-economic benefits, to improve the multiple use system, and also to gain the aid of governance. From the survey mentioned, conservation and socio-economics are the main strategies for this project, as we are prioritizing the environment and surrounding human residents. In this diagram, we can see the zonation of Pulau Ketam area. Since our priorities are the strategies of conservation and socio-economics, we can see here that from the zonation carried out, conservation is the largest, and we predict from these conservation activities, the socio-economic sectors will also thrive in Pulau Ketam. Coming to stage 5, from the development of our conservation site, our natural mangrove ecosystem can be maintained. With that, there are larger opportunities for tourism and more job opportunities for residents of Pulau Ketam. At the end of our project, our team realized that our multiple use objective was not very reliable with the results obtained. So further planning will be conducted to identify the importance of this objective. If not, we would return to stage 1 and alter problematic objectives so that it will fit the need of this project.
Based on the results collected, we conclude that our case study is a good approach among the community because they believe this mangrove conservation site can benefit their daily life. The overall reliability tests show a good level of reliability. This mangrove conservation site can provide many benefits to the community, therefore this is highly recommended. First of all, they can reduce harmful greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane from the environment. They can also protect coastal areas from erosion. They also act as nursery habitats for many commercially important fish and shrimp species. They also can replace breakwaters and seawalls. This is because they act as a natural wave barrier. Therefore, we don't have to cause more damage to the environment by building new breakwaters or seawalls. Finally, ecotourism activities such as kayaking are encouraged in this conservation site, as this can provide education while in a fun way to the community.